Hello guys, NautoAisDx once again, and this is going to be a follow-up on my video on my main channel about Cloud Strife being on Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. Excuse me. So basically this one, the follow-up is that I want to give my thoughts about it, why this is a big deal, a very, very big deal. Why Cloud on a Nintendo console on Smash is a very big deal. And the quick answer basically is that, like I said before in my other video, is when you think about Cloud Strife, you think about Final Fantasy VII, you kind of think about PlayStation 1, a Sony exclusive. Because Final Fantasy VII, believe it or not, there was a lot of controversy that went to Sony from the N64. Originally, it was going to be an N64 game, and they had like a prototype for what Final Fantasy VII would look like. It looks like what as of right now, but there was a prototype. But what happened was that at one point, Square-Enix asked Nintendo, so what medium are you going to use for the N64? And they said, oh, we're going to stick with cartridges because people know them. So Square-Enix said, well, that's not going to work with our game. So they just went to Sony, and then Sony helped them fund the game, and then that's where we got Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation. And Final Fantasy VII, the reason why people keep saying, oh, it's overrated, it's popular, because it's most people who got PlayStation, people who got into video game, this is their first Final Fantasy. It was a mainstream Final Fantasy. For me, personally, it was Final Fantasy 4 or 2 for the Super Nintendo. That's why one of my all-time favorite is Final Fantasy 4. I had it for the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation, and the best and the superior version was on the PSP. That was one of my all-time favorite one, the complete version. Using the design from Final Fantasy Origin. Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going off track there, but yeah, when you think about Final Fantasy VII, you're thinking about PlayStation exclusive. So that's one of the big shock. Like, wow, Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII, finally now it's on a Nintendo console. That doesn't make sense. But again, I don't know what's going on behind the scene. I don't know what Sakurai did. I don't know what was the deal with Square-Enix. And the only time we'll tell. Hopefully we'll find out what's going on. Why Clouds is in there. Am I happy that Clouds is there? Well, yeah. Not really fan of Final Fantasy VII, but again, it's a shocker. Because this is a character, when you associate with his video game, this character, PlayStation. Granted, it also went to the PC, it's also in the Steam, and then of course this winter, Final Fantasy VII, the Steam version is going to be in the PS4, and then of course 2017 or 18, we don't know when it's going to come out, Final Fantasy Remake. But that one's not going to be a PlayStation exclusive. It'll first launch at PlayStation, I think that's what I heard, some exclusive content, but it's also going to go to the Xbox One. And perhaps maybe the NX. Who knows? So that's one of the main big reasons why. Second, why is this a big deal? And the second reason is that some people remember this game. PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. Yes, Sony trying to step into the fighting party game, trying to compete with Smash. I'll probably give my thoughts about that in another vlog, just like Street Fighter Cross Second. But the gist of it is, it's the game, it's okay, the controls is much better than Smash, but overall, you'd rather just stick with Smash. That's what I'm going to say. You want to know my in-depth opinion about it? Well, stay tuned for now. Maybe I'll talk about it in December, maybe 2016, I don't know yet. But, again, the game is not that bad, but it's nowhere close to a competitive to Super Smash Brothers. I'm sorry, because as of right now, I'm still playing Smash Brothers. As of right now, a year later, after I bought two versions, the 3DS and the Wii U. So there you go. PlayStation All-Star, I probably played it 6 months, and then I was done with it. Didn't really have a lot of content versus Smash Brothers for the Wii U, but that's probably awesome. But again, we'll see. So anyway, why am I talking about this game, this competitive game? Because the director of that game said we're gonna try to put as many as third-party character in it as we can, which they did. Some of them make sense, some of them they didn't. All right, the characters that kind of make sense, in my opinion, are three of them. First, Heihachi Mishima makes sense because Tekken 1 to 3, or even Tekken 4 and 5, were PlayStation exclusive. They never wasn't competitive. They wasn't on Sega Saturn or the Xbox until 6 came. 6 became multiplat. Makes sense. Metal Gear Solid Raiden. Metal Gear Solid 2. It was in the PS2 exclusively before the HD remake. And Revengeance. Raiden's debut was a PlayStation 2 game, Metal Gear Solid 2. There you go. And you say, well, Snake was also in Metal Gear Solid. Wrong. Snake's debut was in Metal Gear. It was an NES game in an MSX, so that makes sense. Snake sort of associated with Nintendo, but he was revolutionized on the PlayStation with Metal Gear Solid franchise. And by the way, that'll be a vlog soon. Stay tuned for now. So it kind of makes sense with Raiden. Devil May Cry. Dante. Okay, we know people call it Dante because it's a different Dante. It's a reboot Dante that they use, not the original one. I'm not gonna argue with this one because I think it's just ridiculous. Like really, all I can say is Green Knight Sonics. Anyway, Dante. The first 3 Devil May Cry game was a PS2 exclusive. 1, 2, and 3. Granted, the HD remix and 4 are multi-plat, but Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3 was PlayStation 2. There you go. Makes sense. The only one that doesn't make sense was BioShock Big Daddy. Why? That was an Xbox 360 exclusive before it went to the PS3 and the PC. It came in a year later. There you go. See, Nintendo gets Cloud Strife, doesn't make sense because it's PlayStation exclusive. PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale gets Big Daddy, which is a Xbox exclusive at one point. Again, that's not really the main point. The real main point here is, again, I was talking about third-party character is, if you notice, like I said about Heihachi, Dante, and Raiden, they were associated with PlayStation. So, why not put Cloud there? Would it make more sense? Kingdom Hearts 2, or Kingdom Hearts series, Sora, would make sense. Here's the backstory of what happened, and people have talked about it if you kind of notice, if you see on Twitter. A good friend of mine, Alex from Backlog Battle, basically tweeted that, remember that they did try to put Cloud in for PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale, but Square-Enix said no. Yes, that was a problem. 2012, I think, let's just say that, is they kind of asked Square Enix, said, hey, we want to put it on the PlayStation, in our game. We know Cloud Strife is associated with PlayStation. Can we put him there? And at the time in 2012, Square Enix said, no, we're not going to allow any of our Square Enix, or especially Final Fantasy characters, be in other game. We don't want to ruin the reputation. So, we're kind of familiar with that. So, yes, like, I think somebody in charge of Square Enix said they really don't want to put any Square Enix character on that game or any fighting game. Because they put it on Earth Guys at one point. That didn't come out good. And they have their own fighting game called Final Fantasy Dissidia. So, that's why. So, at the time, I guess, they said no. So, that's why they couldn't get Cloud. It would make sense more in PlayStation Battle Royale. But, again, because they said they didn't want to ruin the character. Because, remember, the game itself wasn't even good. It had a mediocre review. So, that was also the problem. And they were fearing it might ruin the reputation. Yes, this is the same thing happened with Mega Man on Brawl. Believe it or not. That Mega Man was supposed to be in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Didn't. Why? Capcom said no, they were afraid they might ruin the reputation. Sakurai said, screw it, we're done with the guest character. So Sonic and Snake were in it. Snake, because Hideo Kojima just wanted Snake to be in a Smash game. Sonic was because the number one request at the time from Brawl. So now in Wii U and 3DS, I'm gonna guess this is part of the ballot. Maybe not. Maybe the Smash Brothers special Nintendo Direct's probably gonna explain it, like who is the number one ballot. I'm guessing that it's Cloud Strife, but a lot of people said no, it wasn't. But again, the reason also why Cloud Strife probably there was a lot of, like I said before, people begged for this guy. They wanted him since Brawl. They wanted to put him there in Brawl, and they said, "Well, sorry, we can't do anything about it." So finally, now in Smash Bros. For the Wii U 3DS, they said, "Here you go, fans. For Cloud, Smash Brother, we're done. There you go." So that's the reason why it's a big deal, because there's a lot of story of what happened. Like I said, 2012, they wanted to put him in PlayStation All Star Battle Royale. Square-Enix said no. And then when going further back, Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII was a PlayStation 1 exclusive game. It was associated to PlayStation. Never was Nintendo. Like they said, maybe spin-off, but the main game was only in PlayStation, and you couldn't play anything else because there's a lot of problem with the N64. That's why they went to PlayStation. People bought a PlayStation just to play Final Fantasy VII. There you go. And then I get third reason, like I said, is the fans wants it, so they said, "Fine, we're gonna make you shut up. Here it is." So there you go. So this is the reason why Cloud in Smash Bros. For the Wii and 3DS is a very big deal. Very, very big deal. So, with that, thanks for listening. That's it for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.